I think it's super important to take a whole child into consideration because when you're teaching, it's super important that you pay attention to things like when your students haven't had breakfast or hadn't slept well or don't have clean clothes, because all these things can affect them for them to be successful. So I think it's super important to think about these things and find ways that you can solve them. I know in the Rita Persona video, she talks about how her mom had I do believe a snack closet and like other essentials for a student. I think they were hairbrushes, and so that is really important because um like when you're teaching, it's something that you should think, because similar to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if something is not being met, it's not able to build upon each other. So I think that's super important to think about, because your students might need someone to help them and provide them with these things. So yeah, I think it's also a teacher's responsibility for a child to be successful. So being able to provide them, or even knowing that what's going on, is really helpful. The learning theory I chose was multiple intelligence. So there's 9 different intelligence, and they all bring something different. So in the video, there's a problem, and they're trying to build a bridge, and they're all trying to find, like, I guess the one right way to do so. And kind of what they do is that they disagree, of course, and they all have all the different people. Kind of, it goes on and sees their strengths and, you know, their characteristics. And I think it was really interesting how they all brought something different, and it was kind of described as team effort. So I thought that was really interesting because it's kind of similar to a classroom. You like how students bring different ideas, or kind of in my history class, it's kind of right in the middle of a time period. So there's people who know what happened before, there's people who know after, and then there's some people who are just really learning from the middle. So everybody brings something different, and I think that's really interesting because it's also like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If something's not being met, it's kind of how something is not exactly like kind of in the math lesson, how something you need to learn what's before to be able to move on. So it's kind of like that connection. I think is really interesting. The 9 different intelligence were logical, interpersonal, visual, naturalism, intrapersonal, verbal, existential, kinesthetic, and musical. I think they're all really interesting and bring something different, which is really important. So a way that I would bring this into my classroom in the future is make lesson plans based on ideas based on ideas that everyone's different and everybody contributes something different. So kind of there was a I looked online, and there was on a website called Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's kind of like a curriculum based of kind of projects that students can either space them out so every student does them, or you can assign some to a certain group and they all can present, and so everybody presents something different and brings something different, which I thought that was really interesting. It's really similar to the multiple intelligence one, so I thought that was really interesting, and I would do something similar to that because my teacher in freshman year of high school, we were learning about the Holocaust, and what she did was everybody got a different set of terms, and based on this term sheet type of thing, she put the definitions, and you got to pick an image and the definition, and you got to explain a little bit more about it, and everybody got a different one. And I thought when everybody presented, everybody took for something different, and they all were taking notes, so it was really interesting to learn in that way. I thought it was really different, and I really did like it, so I would do something similar for my classroom. Also, the little the video from the multiple intelligence, the little characters of the people, reminded me a lot of how the movie Inside Out is. So each character brings a different emotion to the character Riley. So I thought that was really interesting how kind of those two things kind of connect. So yeah, thank you so much for listening.